Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine. It's another unboxing video, and this time it's Laura Nyro. Hear My Song. This is a 19 CD set from Madfish Records. Now, she might not be a household name to everybody, but her fingerprints are everywhere in the modern singer-songwriter culture, especially as Laura melded soul, pop, gospel and jazz into something that became uniquely her own. This is an absolutely superb box set, and I'm going to show you exactly what's in it. This is a look inside the Laura Nyro Hear My Song box set. This is a limited edition 19 CD deluxe box set, a 90-page hardback coffee table book with words from Vivian Goldman, Elton John, Charlie Catellero, Jackson Browne, Clive Davis and many more. Never seen before photographs, intimate family shots, 10 studio albums, 6 live albums and 2 discs of rarities, 2 previously unreleased live albums, all newly remastered and housed in a deluxe lift-off lid. I think Madfish can say that because the way that these boxes open is like opening your new iPhone when it arrives. They're really well put together. This is another huge set from Madfish. They did do a vinyl Laura Nyro set, which is just the, I think, studio albums, but I know even people who bought that have gone for this. I'm going to show you the disc, and I'll do the book last of all. These discs aren't in any kind of chronological order when they were released. It's just the way I've been playing them. So Mother's Spiritual, they've all got gatefold sleeves with all the original text on, if there was text on the original album, on the back. And here it is. This is More Than a New Discovery from 1967. So they're all really well designed. Madfish do this so well. This is live at the Fillmore 1971. Live at San Francisco Fairmont Hotel in 1994. And they do slot in there quite easily. So bottom right now, probably one of her most famous albums, Ellen the 30th, the Confession, 13th Confession even. And this is from 1968. Smile. I say all gatefolds, Angel in the Dark, which is a lovely album. Another one from the Fairmont Hotel, 94. Rarities and live recordings. Let's put those back in the little slot if I can. And if I can't, I shall just move on and put them back afterwards, but it looks like I've succeeded. One of my favourite albums, which is features lots of covers of soul classics, but I absolutely love this, and Laura had such a take on doing other people's material. Going to Take a Miracle. This will be a mono, or the stereo version of the other album I showed you. This is the mono version. Walk the Dog and Light the Light. Live, The Loom's Desire, Part 1. Go Find the Moon. Those of you with OCD will be watching how I put these back, noticing they're going back in a different order, but don't worry, it doesn't bother me. New York Tenderbury, which I know is a lot of people's favourite album. This is from 1969. All really well put together. Wonderfully reproduced, and Live in the Loom's Desire Part 2. You're right, you see, those of you watching thinking, well, that should be where the other one was. Maybe I'll do that later. I might. Okay, right, so let's move that out of the way, and then I can show you, I felt like I'm doing a cookery programme. Here's one I prepared earlier. This is the Hear My Song. This is the hardback book. And just like Madfish would do, look at that. You see, look at that. You can't tell, can you? But this is proper, you know, stuff to protect the pages. Wonderful paper stock. And here we go. Elton John does the introduction, and then family members are talking lots of rich text, and then we're off and running with the full story of Laura's career. Lots of photographs you may or may not be familiar with. For me, as this is more of a recent rabbit hole I've gone down, all of this was fascinating and new to me. And I know quite a few people in the Facebook group and WhatsApp group are fans of Laura and actually become fans because of sets like this, maybe first with the vinyl one and now this CD set. But it's beautifully put together. Clive Davis reflects, and it's just marvellous stuff really. Jackson Browne talking there, just really, really well put together. Randy Brecker reflects, Bernard Purdie, lots of family stories as well. John Sebastian, Will Lee. Just really, really well put together. Intimate shots here, family photographs. And you can see if you're hovering on the fence of this, these are limited editions. Gary Burden reflects lots of heartfelt stories of how this artist has impacted on people's lives. And then we come to this section, which I'm going to have to do this separately so you can actually see. This pans out into literally a story, a chronological story of how each album appeared and the year it did. So I'll see if I can bring up a photograph of this part of the book, so you can actually see how this goes through her entire career until her untimely passing from ovarian cancer. So that's really nice touch in the book. And then we have some more live photos, and then each album, we go through each album then in turn with all the songwriting credits. So like I've said before, these kind of box sets, if you're playing, just taking a random disc, you can then refer to this to get all the background information you would possibly want. And that goes through all the albums that were released coming up to 1993, the live rarities. You've got the audition tape from 1966. I know all the remastering information is on the back as well. And that is Laura Nyro. Hear my song, and now I'll tell you what I think. So that is a look inside this superb box set from Madfish Records called Hear My Song, which brings together Laura Nyro's complete career. Blues, gospel, folk, you name it. Laura Nyro's songwriting skills and influences amongst all of this. I think I made a note here in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame page, her unflinching confessional lyrics on audacious rhythmic shifts made her an idol for such stars as Elton John and Kate Bush. Now this set is about £200. It's typical of Madfish, as you've just seen. The book itself, which is sitting in front of me, so I know you've just seen it, but just another reminder just how incredible this is, and the way it folds out and with extra bits inside. It's another example of how Madfish decide what else can we do. This is a different type of artist, which is like the price point is a little bit lower than where you normally see Madfish sets, but there's no tour programs in here, there's no second book, there's no posters, there's no press releases. It's the book and it's the output from Laura herself, but it's absolutely wonderfully put together. They did release a vinyl set of her key albums before this, which is about £150 odd. I think that's still available, but this with the 19 CDs and all the live stuff and the 2 unrealized concerts, and the quality of the concerts is superb. All the rarities, it's amazing. Now, who is this aimed at? I would say it's aimed at people who have a few of Laura Nyro's albums, and a lot of them are out of print. A lot of them, if you buy them separately on CD, are £20 plus if you can get hold of them. This, as you saw, brings them all together in little mini gatefold sleeves. They've all been remastered and they all sound absolutely fantastic. If you're asking me whether I've listened to all 19 CDs completely all the way through and made notes on them, I haven't. My job here is to show you the box, and if you're already a fan of Laura Nyro, then hopefully you've got what you need to decide whether this is going to be for you. It's incredibly limited, and I don't think it will hang around for that long. Madfish are a label who are quite content. They let things sit on their shelves for 1 or 2 years, but once the 2,000 odd copies have gone, they have gone. What I have done, though, is listen to swathes of these CDs and already come up with my own favourites and what she means to me, really. I was only aware of a few tracks, and because of the age that I am, I know some of you watching this thinking, well, you know, Uncle Phil, he's in his 60s, you know all this stuff. I don't, because when I was growing up in the 70s, going back further than 1970 was like an unknown land. Just give me T-Rex and Slade. And what are the big kids looking at? The rock bands of the time, The Who, The Purps. And I got into people like Carole King, and obviously that was how I started to get into singer-songwriters and stuff, and obviously Joni Mitchell, of course, of which there's a huge reference point here. But Joni Mitchell is a name that everyone thinks of, the Blue Album and all this kind of stuff. But Laura Nyro? No. Apart from a few tracks on compilations and hearing a few albums, because a lot of the focus here is the late 60s, and by the time she was making music into the 70s, there was so much other stuff that had more light perhaps shining upon it, that Laura's music, for a huge chunk of the population, again bearing in mind that in the 70s and 80s there's no internet, and music papers just totally focused on what they knew would shift papers and magazines. But there are some albums in here that already I fall in love with, and one in particular that I think, this one came out in 1971, so there's no way I would have been aware of this, called Gonna Take a Miracle, which is basically a collection of soul classics that she revisits, music that really influenced her. And this is such a joyous album. I think there's a melancholy aspect to all the photography that you see of Laura in a way, and that cover does not represent the joy that comes out of the music in a way. It just comes across as someone that perhaps wasn't sure about it. You sent my picture, do you really need to take it? But Nowhere to Run, Jimmy Mac, and Monkey Time Dash, Dancing in the Street. It's You Really Got a Hold of Me. This is the one that I have played the most. Other albums that I've fallen in love with is Christmas and the Beads of Sweat, which is absolutely gorgeous album. This again, 1970, you see. New York, Tenderbury. When was this one? This came out in 1960, released in September 69, recorded in 1968. And this one is in the box twice, as stereo and mono, and this is probably one of the most well-known, Ellie and the 13th Confession, and this is the mono version I've got here, recorded in February 68 and released in March 1968. And that's the thing, isn't it? I think that's the thing for many of us. This is the late 60s, and so much was going on then. But as I showed you in the unboxing, there are so many things to explore. Mother Spiritual has become another one of my favourites, which is an album at the time some people weren't totally sure about, perhaps. But this is a wonderful set. And if you're someone who has a few of Laura Nyro's albums, if you're a fan of Laura anyway, this is your best chance of collecting all of these albums together. The remastering is fantastic. And yet I'll mention this because when I mention things like remastering and how things sound, there's some music, there's some records that when you see the date, 1968, 1970, they sound like that's where they're from, whether it's the recording techniques, the style of music, the kind of inflections of the, like one might be phasing or something, with something in it that tethers it to that period. One of the most incredible things about this artist and this music is, if someone had said, "Oh, this is there's a new artist called Laura Nyro. Listen to this album. It's coming out in 2 months' time," you'd believe that. This the honesty, the gospel aspect, the spiritual aspect, the soulful aspect of her voice, the jazz inflections as well. The way that she just blurs genres. In her own unique style. This is timeless music that can be discovered now. And in fact, Laura's music could easily slot into any Netflix teen angst series and you'd think it was a brand new artist. She's sadly no longer with us. She died in 1997. In fact, she was born in 1947, so she was quite a young woman when she sadly passed away. And the fact is that as she went through her career, all the spotlight is on her early stuff, and I can see why. But what this box set does is give you lots of access to her later albums. And I mean, this one here, Live in San Francisco, Fairmont Hotel, 1994. It's towards the end of her career, really, and it was going to be cut short and say the end of her career. She wasn't fading, but it's just wonderful stuff. And another one I like is Angel in the Dark, and this is a collection of her last recordings she ever made. It's just amazing. It's just amazing stuff. So yes, Madfish have done it again. And the other thing that I'll say about Madfish Records is they're expensive sets. They're very limited. They are designed for people who want to explore an artist. Did this with Horselips, Steve Village, where everything is pulled together. But at least I think with this record label, you know what you're getting, and they won't miss. They won't miss fire. They won't miss the target. If it says it's a luxury set, it is. I say this one is slightly cheaper than some of the other sets, I think, because it's outside of the book. It's the book, it's the music. There's no other extra things in it. But what's in it is 19 CDs packed full of beautiful, uplifting, soulful music. So that is Laura Nyro, Hear My Song. I don't know how many are left. I'm quite late in reviewing this. But I've absolutely, again, a wonderful artist for me to enjoy and immerse myself in. And I just love this. I love the fact, I say this a lot, but there are some box sets where you think, I'm going on an adventure. I'm going on my holidays. I'm going on my musical holidays. I've got a box full of stuff. Get me mug of tea and I go and sit down and start to just randomly pick one and put it in the CD drive, open the book that focuses on that record, and I'm gone. Absolutely amazing stuff. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for being here. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Please take care. If you want to become part of our community, which is growing all the time, then become a member or via YouTube, or become a patron, and you'll get access to our private Facebook group and our WhatsApp groups as well, and also come along to our twice monthly meetup at our own virtual pub called the Now Spinning arms. Anyway, I'm off to go and play some more Laura. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you all very, very soon.